All right, to watch this video for Wednesday, March 29th. Another nice rally in the SPY. We're back up to the 20-day from underneath, so we'll see how it handles that. But that is after the gap down yesterday. That's certainly a very nice two-day rally. So we're going to go ahead and do our list here. DFFN closed really strong. I made a call on this one in the afternoon when it looked like this. I said if this guy typed in the room, if this gets through 4, it might pop, something like that. Because at that moment, it was, it had grinded lower after the huge move. I never caught an entry here because I didn't want to chase. It flirted with getting back through 4 here, but, going into lunchtime, that failed. But then when you get the afternoon starts to come in, people look at that daily candle that's forming, and if this thing can hold above 4, the daily candle was going to look pretty strong. So it popped up close to 4. Sellers came in. That's kind of what I wanted to see. So that's when I typed in, if this gets through 4, it might pop, and look what happened. Ended up getting through 5. Had no idea it was going to do that, but what a move. I did get some thank yous in chat for that one. And then, the reasoning made sense, and then I didn't think it was going to close this strong, but closing all the way at the highs, you look to the left, there's not a lot in the way. Having said that, it's stupid extended in the short term, so anything can happen, but we're certainly going to have this one on watch tomorrow. ZSAN. I think somebody came out and reported a stake in this company intraday today. Yeah, and you can see that's where the volume came in, and it ended up closing really strong. Remember, I don't hold overnight, but this one's certainly worth watching tomorrow. IDGX had this gap up and run. I'll go to 15-minute candle so you can see it the other day. A huge move, and it came all the way back down, all the way round tripped, but then today really closed strong. Had a nice pop and closed strong, and then actually after hours, right now it's trading at 288. I don't know how much that means, but if we open up here tomorrow, and if we gap up at all tomorrow, this is certainly an interesting one because it's a low float stock. It's got a history of running to almost 20 back here where it got its start below 2, right? So everybody remembers that. You had a big secondary spike, and it's definitely finding some nice support. 10 million shares the other day, and then grinding higher. So this is a good candidate for a pop tomorrow. ATHX, the only reason this is on watch, and I may just pull it off the list. When I put this on the list, it was like at $1.70 in after hours. It is at $1.35 right now. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one off the list. It's not that interesting to me. If it shows up tomorrow getting volume in the pre-market, it'll go right back on the list because we'll add it to our potential gap and go plays. But let's just move on. Let's see, where did I leave off? ADXT, AKER, huge volume today, relatively speaking. I mean, look to the left, you just don't see this volume, that kind of volume anywhere, right? So massive volume. They had news that they're, I guess, well, I'll try to read it to you here. Okay, here's the headline. They began selling their rapid cholesterol test through distribution agreement with First Check. So, being a man in my 50s now, I actually am interested in, I would love a rapid cholesterol test. I'm assuming maybe you can get it at the drugstore or something. So I think that's probably a really good market. Now, again, I'm not an investor, so I don't own this right now. But with this kind of volume, it's going to catch some attention tomorrow. I don't love the fact that it, has this crazy, topping tail, bottoming tail. It's got one of those crazy intraday, kind of whippiness. Having said that, I did call it right here. In the 230 area, right about here, with my stop below the 20-day here, 20 period, sorry. These are 5-minute candles. And then we got this. I said if this gets through the high day, it might pop. So I took it and called it in chat right around 230 right here. My worst case stop was, I don't know, 215-ish. Pulled back a little bit. I added as it came back up, looking, the volume was coming in. And, man, we got a really nice rip all the way to 290. It really surprised me that it had that big of a move, but just as I teach, I scaled out into the move and ended up making close to a couple thousand in this thing over the course of a couple trades today. So, because it was friendly to me today, even though it has kind of a weird candle now, that volume might catch some attention. It goes back on watch for tomorrow. All right, PULM was on bounce watch for today. It just keeps bleeding lower, but it had this huge move back here. Obviously, this huge move here. I definitely want to watch this. Again, it needs to give me a proper intraday setup. It was on bounce watch today, did absolutely nothing with it. Same with AUPH, did absolutely nothing with this. But a little bit of a, kind of started to get fast to the downside and then found some buyers. And you have a little bit of a bottoming tail here. It's actually trading at 733 and after hours. I don't know if that means anything either, but this just goes back on bounce watch for tomorrow. PSIX did nothing with it today. It was on the gap playlist. But, with selling off, I think because of the news, I don't expect this to fill the gap. I kind of expect it to find some support before that. So with that said, I'm going to watch this for a potential bounce tomorrow. I had the gap up today in a red candle, but this one might find its footing tomorrow, so it goes on watch. Low float stock there. HTGM, I think they announced a secondary. I don't think anybody knows the pricing of the secondary, but with this crazy move, and now you got a couple days lower. I don't love it because of the secondary, but you never know. This one might catch a really nice setup, so I got to have it on the chart. APOP, this is kind of ugly because you look at this gap up and this big pop, and you think, okay, everybody from yesterday is underwater, so that's definitely some overhead resistance. But when you switch to 15-minute candles, it looks a little bit like, well, not really. I was going to say it looks a little bit like it's kind of flagging, but whenever something round trips, and it hasn't completely round tripped from where it started because of the gap, but it has, like I said, I don't love the fact that this is below all of yesterday's trading. Having said that, we might get a turn back up tomorrow. Sorry about that. So it goes on watch. KBSF had a big pop today, and it's a former high flyer. Had this huge move back here, and it's gone down to to nothing, and all of a sudden today gets a nice pop. Another low floater, so if this goes red to green or something like that tomorrow, it could give a nice trade. And then lastly, I want to put ZAIS on long watch. It bounced today and ended up closing strong. Let's look at it on 15s. So it had a midday pop here, went back into the base, and then a late day pop. So certainly like over 260. This might find some legs because it had the gap up, I think, on earnings the other day, and went as high as 419. And now trading at 252. So over 260. This one might head back up to 3. It's a lower float stock. It makes big moves here, here, here. You can see it. It's got a history of making big moves, probably because it's a low float stock, and it seems to have found support at the 20-day. So good potential popper tomorrow. We'll also add some gappers in the morning and hopefully catch some nice trades. All right, enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see everybody tomorrow.